Jeff is also the co-host of the Pure Athlete podcast. Pure Athlete is a platform podcast that empowers parents, coaches, and the next generation of athletes to navigate the complex culture of youth sports. I watched a couple podcast clips this morning, Jeff, and it speaks to me as the father of 10 and 7-year-old girls, because they both play soccer, they do gymnastics, they do other activities. But I remember 3 years ago with my then 7-year-old, now 10-year-old, and it was already with her soccer club. It was about the competitive tryouts and are you going to go in that direction? And we, she's like, that sounds awesome. But then it turns out it's 4 to 5 days a week. There's cuts. Yep. There's the possibility you're paying a ton of money and your kid's not playing or not playing much. One of her best friends went out, made the team. 3 months later, had quit, and not only quit the competitive side, didn't want to play soccer ever again. It's a really tricky balance because on one hand, these are kids. They're in my case 10 and 7 years old. Why would you push them? On the flip side of it, there is this culture now where there's an immense pressure that, hey, if you're already behind. Oh, you got a 7-year-old? She's not already, playing in the competitive hockey league. Well, she's never going to be able to play hockey. That is a hard thing on parents, especially if, like me, you have other things going on in your own life as well. You like your kids to do different activities, and there are limits of what you can actually accomplish.
For sure. And I started this with two other guys, Britt Lee and Brad Williams. And the whole idea of this was giving parents places to go, a forum to talk about this, right? I don't think there's any perfect science to it. There's not a perfect answer to it. But I do know this, that, I have 4 kids, 10, 8, 5, and 3. And when I kind of got in this 2 years ago, I saw the pressures. I saw the thing. And at the end of the day, we're really doing this to 8-year-old kids, to 10-year-old kids. Now, look, I'm as competitive as anybody. And I coach a travel softball team. I tell them all the time, we go out there, we play to win. But I'm also not stupid. I want to develop these girls. I want to develop these young kids because ultimately, Tom, the great equalizer in this whole thing is puberty. You really don't know what you have till your kids go through puberty and come out the back end. We all know of instances where you played with that kid in 3rd grade who was bigger, faster, stronger than everybody. And by 8th grade, they were irrelevant. And so we want to give a forum to push multiple sports, continue to drive passion. We got a lot of studies, specialized sports at a young age. The injuries in these boys and girls is growing and growing by the number. And, the first question I ask parents, what do you want out of your youth sports journey for your kids? And to me, if it's, I want them to get a scholarship. We all do, right? But at the end of the day, I want my kids to learn work ethic, discipline, being a great teammate, being able to play in a system sometimes that you might not like, but you have to learn to adapt. And we're trying to get these athletes and coaches on that have had success, that have done it different ways, male, female, different sports. And it's been a lot of fun. And I know for me, I've learned a lot from coaching and from that's helped me become a better coach, a better dad, and realize that there's more ways to do it than just push, because I tell people, you're always going to have the outliers. You're going to have the Serena Williams, the Tiger Woods, but majority of kids are going to burn out and not want to play. And I always say, then where does that leave your relationship with your kid as y'all grow older?
Whenever I start to think about, the idea that my kids can, should they be playing like the competitive sports and stuff? And then I'll take a step back and look out on the field, and you can go around and see every kid is doing some kid thing in a youth soccer game. You got the one kid who wants to play goalie, but they give up 6 goals in 3 minutes, and somehow they become entangled in the net, and they have to be have their cleats pulled out of the net. You got the kid doing cartwheels across the middle of the field. You got the kid who their parent is yelling at them what to do, and so they're just standing there with the ball, unable to throw it in because they're trying to listen to their parent and listen to the coach. It's it's the comedy of these are children, and yet somewhere there's a kid trying to be the next 14-year-old to play in MLS, which we got earlier today. I don't know what the firm answers are, because I don't know, quite frankly, that I'm going to have high-level athletes that I'm being the parent of. I do know, though, that as I look across the landscape of a soccer field, 90% of these kids are just there because their parents signed them up and they like being around other kids and doing cheers on the sideline.
It's amazing. I talk to all these coaches, and these 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds go to these showcases and doing this. You know how many college coaches really care about it? I mean, the way college is now, A, they're probably not even going to be there, or B, so my whole thing is, right? Enjoy the journey. Yes, you want your kids to be competitive. I tell my kids all the time, we're going to work. We go to the cages. My son loves lacrosse. We go throw the ball together, have him throw against the wall. But at the same time, let them drive the journey. Let them drive that passion. If they want to continue to do it, come beside them and help them. But there's got to be parameters, man. You got to let them be kids. And like you said, my best example was I had a girl on my softball team this year get backpicked, and I kind of lit into her a little bit. And literally 2 nights later, I don't know if you remember, this is probably right before Ronald Acuna got hurt. He got picked off twice in one game at first base. And I'll never forget this girl coming up to me the next day and saying, "Hey, Coach Jeff, did you see that Ronald Acuna got picked off twice at first base?" And I'm thinking, if here's one of the best players in the world doing it, and here a 10-year-old, like, it gives you a lot of good perspective and realize, like, man, let's have a lot of fun. Let's work hard, but let the passion develop.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.